In Mentis Wave's 100K Q&A, Mentis said that if he had to live in a statist system, he would pick a Georgist monarchy. I don't think that makes much sense. First, I'm going to play a clip by Hans Hermann Hoppe on monarchy, then explain the issue I see with the Georgist monarchy.
As an hereditary monopolist, a king or a prince regards the territory and the people under his jurisdiction as his personal property and engages in the monopolistic exploitation of this property. Under democracy, monopoly and monopolistic exploitation do not disappear. Rather, what happens is simply this. Instead of a prince and a nobility who regard the country as their private property, a temporary and interchangeable caretaker is put in monopolistic charge of the country. The caretaker does not own the country, but as long as he is in office, he is permitted to use it to his and his protégés' advantage. He owns its current use, or what is called usufruct, but he does not own its capital stock. This does not eliminate exploitation. To the contrary, it makes exploitation less calculating and carried out with little or no regard to the capital stock. Exploitation becomes short-sighted and capital consumption will be systematically promoted.
My argument is this. If you accept Hoppe's argument about private versus temporary ownership of the state, it makes no sense to support a system which functionally abolishes private ownership of land and replaces it with temporary ownership. Second, to reply to Mentis saying Georgism is definitely one of the least bad forms of taxation, I will make a point inspired by Murray Rothbard. Because value is subjective, it is wrong to look at the quantitative costs and benefits of a tax policy alone. Some people hate property and land taxes with a passion. I've even seen non-libertarians call property taxes theft, so I think it's fair to say that a lot of people suffer far more than financial damage from land and property taxes, and while we can't measure it, we can't ignore it either. Anyway, that's my basic case against an Austro-libertarian argument for a Georgist monarchy. I'm a big fan of Mentis, and I'm not really trying to debunk him here. I just think his position on this specific issue isn't very sound. I will probably make a more in-depth video on Georgism and the arguments for and against it, because I think that is needed, and nobody seems to have done a good job explaining its flaws in a non-piecemeal fashion. But this will probably take a while just because of the scale of that project. Anyway, thanks for watching.